Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Cat's Track. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this with your friends. Today's episode is with my dear friend, Lewk Schulze. Lewk was born right here in Calgary and loves this awesome city. He's now living with his beautiful wife, Sarah, in LA. She not only provides a level of sanity to his crazy work-life balance, she's incredibly passionate about marketing and helping companies amplify their messaging, working with top companies like Fender. Lewk and Sarah now work at Xenic together. What a power couple. Besides Lewk's loved ones, he's most passionate about making art and music, as well as helping younger artists thrive in a very complex and seemingly intimidating environment. Friends, you'll find his full bio attached. Lewk, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Kat. It's a pleasure to be here. I wish I was there in person, but 2020. So this is how we do interviews.
That's so right. Well, I very much look forward to seeing you in 2021 in person.
Me as well. Me as well. It's always a pleasure. And thank you for having me.
Oh, you've always been on my list, my friend. Are you ready for the questions we sent you?
Let's do it. Yeah. I'm ready to dive in.
Okay. The greatest challenge or challenges you've had in the last several months?
That is an interesting question for the landscape of 2020. But I think the pivoting that a lot of businesses had to do this year, and the pivoting just in mindset and attitude and approaching new obstacles, has been a challenge, but very rewarding. I think finding that solace and finding that peace within being able to pivot a structure or pivot something that maybe didn't turn out the way you thought it was, but it's turning out the way that it's supposed to be. I think that's been very rewarding this year, especially in my field, which is a lot of business consultation and marketing and reacting to market awareness. So I think just that pivoting and then really figuring out what the market has for you.
No, I love it. You always turn everything into a positive.
I try my best. I feel like it's easier doing business that way, right?
It sure is. I agree. I love it. And what about the top 3 things you want to share with us today?
I think like the top 3, I think just being aware of, the younger entrepreneurs coming into market. I think that's one of the top 3. The second one would probably be how artists affect, the marketing community and how that is now becoming one world. Marketing used to be very segregated. You'd have PR and then digital advertising and all this stuff. And now it's just becoming one world online, which is very exciting. And then the third would probably just be talking about Canada, talking about how we can do global business on a large scale and bringing in Canada as the main front. That'd be the third on my list.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
I love Canada too, and there's so much opportunity, especially right now, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I think bringing in Canada to the global frame has been something, we look at from a Xenic standpoint, which is the company that I'm CEOing right now. And we always look at how can we incorporate what Canada has to offer, which, as you said, is endless almost. Like there's so much opportunity in Canada and in Calgary and Edmonton and all these places, and really digging in deep to the talented people that we have in those networks and figuring out what that looks like. That's been super exciting for us. And that story, I think, as we're saying, is endless. There's so much potential there.
I agree. And I know this is a surprise and not on my list of questions, but do you mind giving us your pitch on what Xenic does? It's such a unique offering, and just love to share it with our audience if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I give this pitch a million times a day. So even though it's not on our question list, I'll do my best.
Perfect.
So Xenic, essentially what we do at the core is we connect founders with investment opportunity. So helping inject healthy capital into new startups. In our mind, the VC and PE world is changing drastically, and there's a lot of very positive traits in both of those worlds. And there's a lot of negative traits that we're trying to iron out. We look at companies as a startup based off of the founder and the founder's vision, and we also look at how investors can be part of that synergy in a very healthy way. So we've broken down this world into 3 categories. And for us, it's the studio side, which is where Xenic helps incubate and build companies from the ground up. Everything from getting a founder's message of this is what I want to start, and then figuring out how to put those pieces together. Okay, this is different market standings. This is where everything is in market. Let's put those pieces together in a healthy way with the founder. So anything from branding, marketing, messaging, tonality, all that stuff is in that studio compartment. The second compartment is capital, injecting healthy capital, connecting these startups with capital on a global level. So Xenic has an investment network that we're continually growing and vetting and making sure that we're finding healthy capital and the best types of markets. And it's everything from private equity to VCs to high net worth individuals. So a lot of capital, bringing it all into one place and then injecting it in a strategic way. The third is campaigns. So this is the marketing component. This is how we push brands to market. So we like to call it a three-pronged risk mitigation system. We're mitigating risk in creating the startup. We're mitigating risk in that investor startup relationship. And then also making sure that once that startup is launched, that it's going to do well on market. So making sure the marketing is good, making sure the funding makes sense. They're not just putting funds in different directions and hoping for the best, really pivot with the market. And that ties into 2020. That's exactly what we did this year, pivot with the market, go where the market's telling you to go.
That's exciting. And you certainly do that. Are you able to share any names of clients that you've worked with in the past?
Yeah, from a marketing level. So my background's all in marketing. I started Xenic when I was 18. So for me, starting a company at a young age was just kind of thrown into it, and I started making websites. I figured out that I could make websites during high school and college, and it paid pretty well. So I was super excited about that. I was like, this is really cool. I can just make websites for clients. And then some of the clients that I've worked for in the past are primarily in Napa when I got started. So Napa Valley. So I've worked with the city of Napa. I've worked with Robert Montavi, TEDx. I was part of one of the teams that helped bring TEDx to Napa Valley. So those connections at a very young age were super amazing. And it really taught me that agency world, and I think not many people get to look behind the hood of an agency and really see what that looks like and how it operates. And I was so inspired by my time with Xenic doing those things, but also with internships that I was doing at different agencies and really discovering that world. Clients from Xenic's end, we've done everything from, DJ Snake, we've worked with him, all the way to doing projects with 100 Oct and Lamborghini and McLaren, and then, corporate brands. We've had a couple exits this year and a couple of partnerships this year that have been amazing. One of our clients, Soups, just got bought out by Amazon, which has been an incredible story for them, and seeing how they developed from 2016 all the way to now. It's just been incredible to see these brands come up. So we're kind of all over the map when it comes to clients, but we have such a good relationship with them, and we just love each one of our clients that get to be part of this Xenic family.
I love the fact that you choose your clients too. That's also very unique. There's so many agencies that will just say yes to everything, and then they're all over the place. Where I find that the ones that you're working with, or the ones you've introduced me to, seem to be like-minded in terms of community-minded. They want to make a major impact, and I love it. And they're all global in their thinking, it seems. Would that be correct?
Absolutely. I think, especially on the studio side, when we're incubating a new venture, we're looking at, building a venture from the ground up. I feel like you have to be passionate about it. You have to love what you're doing. And if there isn't that passion there, then there's not really a point to get involved. So we do turn down about 80% of the ventures that come across our desk. And most of my day is just going through pitch decks and trying to hunt that gold, trying to find that business that makes sense with the right people involved, and making sure that the people are genuine and really passionate and doing it for the right reasons. So, I think every venture is a mix of people and then also the idea and strategy. But if you have a great idea, you have great strategy, but you're working with a toxic group of people, it's not going to go well. So I think it's a balancing act of everything.
And you do a good job of that, my friend.
Oh, cheers. I think we're surrounded by good people, aren't we, Catherine?
Yeah, we are. How lucky are we?
Right? It's amazing.
Right.
It's amazing.
Awesome. And what about the final piece with good news, legacy, or opportunity?
Yeah, I think the opportunity right now is so telling, and I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but I hope that it comes out sooner than 2021, because I'm going to do my 2021 prediction here. And I don't want to be sitting in 2021 and the prediction to be wrong, and then everyone's like, oh, no. So I'm going to try my best with the 2021 prediction and just say that the market opportunity and everything that is coming out of this storm, if you will, that we've experienced in 2020, I think is ripe with opportunity, in the sense that the markets are expanding, things are going to normalize, and people are looking to get out. You look at the 1918 pandemic, right after that, we had the roaring 20s, right? People were going to parties, people were dressing up, people were having the time of their life. And I'm hoping that that experience happens with us as well. Maybe not next year, but in a couple of years that we have our own Roaring 20s. We go back to what it should be for us. And I'm looking forward to that on the Exenic side, is just building these foundations here in 2020 and 2021 to experience that, and really come out of this headstrong and doing what I think we all deserve to be doing, which is having fun and building great companies.
I love it. One final question. Speaking of opportunity, could you share about the vision that you and your business partner has with regard to the business center life that you've been talking about, where we can all share in some cool space with like-minded individuals?
Yeah, business culture is huge. We have a few initiatives at Exenic that we're pushing with this business culture, and one of them is called Atelier. That name is pending. We're still navigating that water, but one of the things with Atelier is just creating a co-working space. One where we're putting the investors first. Putting these companies in rooms. A lot of times when you go to pitching, you'll see 50 companies and maybe 2 or 3 investors all watching pitches one after another, and it kind of draws out, and it takes the focus away from the founders and the messaging that they're actually trying to share with a lot of these pitches. So creating a space where investors come together and they can, start to fight after these brands, fight after these opportunities, because it really should be that way. And that caters to the founders. It caters to the businesses where you have these very talented individuals. You have these people that are just super awesome at creating businesses. Why shouldn't investors be fighting over them? So we're trying to create a space similar to that, using different luxury properties globally. So we're looking at houses in LA, turning that into a co-working space that we could throw events at. And that's going to be the new Exenic office. We've shut down a lot of our offices in 2020. It's hard to pay rent on something you can't enter. So we've made some adjustments, and I think a lot of companies are adjusting to this remote lifestyle. How does a new office look like? What is a new modern office? And that's something we've adjusted with here at Exenic. So this new modern office for us is Atelier, a co-working space where we have a pool, we have a gym, we have that item of luxury, right? Where we can come together, invite our investor networks all over the world to come to one place, but also have these properties globally too, so we can stay remote. We're not in one place. We're always traveling and moving, and keeping business flowing, I think, is the most important thing.
I love it. Well, Shondell and I'll be moving in.
Yes, you have to. You have to. I'm looking forward to that. And we should get a property there in Calgary or Vancouver or Toronto, wherever too. That'd be a lot of fun.
I agree 100%. And property is very reasonable right now.
I know. It's a great time to buy.
I agree. Love your attitude, Lewk. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Kat, thank you. It's a pleasure. And yeah, look forward to seeing us out and doing more of these.
Me too. Merry Christmas to you and your beautiful wife, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers,
Lewk Schulze, Exenic.
Thanks,
very,
guys.
very cool individual. So glad we met right here in Calgary, actually. So happy about that too. Thanks again for joining us on Cat's Track, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.